Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and today I am talking about my comfort reads. Now, I made a video kind of when I first started my channel, so like 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, about my comfort reads at the time. And since then, I've read a lot of books. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about new comfort reads that I've read in the last 3-ish years and why I love them so much. So today we're gushing about all my faves. I define comfort reads as books I turn to when I feel sad, when I feel down. I turn to these books when I'm trying to fall asleep and I'm having a bad insomnia night, just to pass the time and maybe sink into some of my favorite worlds and my favorite characters. Without further ado, let's talk about my new comfort reads. Those books are still comfort reads, but now I have more. I have a bigger pool to select from. The first book we're going to talk about is Banned Sinister by K.J. Charles. This is a short little historical romance, polyamorous romance between Guy Frisbee and Sir Philip Rookwood, and they live on neighboring estates and don't like each other very much at the beginning of the book. Guy has a grudge against Philip at the beginning of the book, but circumstances thrust them together and they are forced to be in close proximity for an extended period of time, and then the two of them get to know each other and fall in love. I love this book so deeply because it really explores consent in a very beautiful way and a lovely queer awakening for Guy, and just the discussions of consent and everything about that is so sweet and lovely that I just find myself turning to this book over and over again because of how charming and sweet and lovely it is. And like, look, these are all my favorite, lines. You can see all my tabs in there because I've reread this so many times, and I just, sometimes flip through this and find my favorite moments and revisit them. And I love a good queer poly romance. I know this is kind of cheating, but I'm going to be talking about Talia Hibbert. So in my first video, I talked about Get a Life Chloe Brown, and I have more Talia Hibbert to add to my comfort read, and they are Work For It and The Princess Trap. Work For It is a queer, grumpy small town romance, and The Princess Trap is a royalty and a regular lady falling in love. And I just think these are both so sweet and so sexy at the same time. The way that both of these couples come together and overcome their obstacles and their traumas is truly remarkable and delightful, and I love such triumphant stories and triumphant love stories at that. So I love these so deeply. Then we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Probably none of these books are a surprise to you if you're a regular of my channel. I don't shut up about some of these books, but if you're looking for recommendations, this is also a great video to watch. Part of Your World is about a doctor named Alexis, and she has a flat tire in the middle of nowhere and is rescued by a man named Daniel, and the two have a kind of a one-night stand that turns into a romance, kind of an opposites attract, people from two different almost classes coming together and falling in love. And Daniel is so wonderful to Alexis. He is obsessed with her. He falls first. He admits his feelings first, and I think Alexis deserves that. This is also an exploration of past traumas and past abusive relationships, so there is a deep exploration of Alexis's former partner being abusive, so be aware of that. But again, it's another triumph. It's another triumphant story that I just get a lot of comfort from and find myself wanting to revisit them and revisit their love over and over again. And look, there's a baby goat. Again, I'm doing this again, but I can't help it. I have 2 books, Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Irish Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. I love these sapphic romances so deeply. so much. Delilah Green is about Delilah, who is kind of estranged from her stepsister and is kind of decides to do the wedding photography for her sister, so she returns to her small town and ends up having a little romance with Claire, who is a bridesmaid of her stepsister at the wedding. And hijinks ensue, and there's a lot going on in here. Claire is a single mother, and Delilah has some sibling and parental trauma that she is working through. This is a lot about the relationships outside of the romance, but I truly do love the romance in here as well. In this one, in Irish Kelly, we have Iris and Stevie, and they end up, through a series of unfortunate or fortunate events, playing opposites. They are both cast in a play, in a queer retelling of Much Ado About Nothing, which is one of my favorite plays, by the way. So they are the leads in the play, and the 2 of them end up fake dating and then falling in love. And again, there's enough going on outside of the romance with the play plotline, with the friendship plotline, and Iris has some things to work through, and so does Stevie. Stevie is pretty anxious, has a lot of anxiety, except when she is performing. So that was an interesting exploration as well. And I just love these steamy, sapphic romances so much. Speaking of steamy and sapphic, we have Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. I have a whole review up for this book on my channel, so I'll link that if you want to go see me embarrass myself about this book. But this is truly a comfort read for me now. I love their love in this book. We're following Cassie and Erin is a doctor, and there's an age gap in here. Erin is the mother of Cassie's college roommate. So there's a little bit of a taboo element going on in this book. And not only is this sexy as hell, the romance in here and the way these 2 start caring for each other and loving each other is a really great journey. And it takes place over the course of like a full year. And so seeing these 2 over a period of time coming together and actually falling in love with each other is so sweet and cozy to me and delightful. And I find myself returning here over and over again. Then we have a couple of fantasy books to round out this video. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I'm so happy that this book came into my life. This little cozy fantasy about Viv, who is an orc, was a mercenary and decides to retire and open a coffee shop. And this is about her building her shop, making friends, making coworkers, meeting coworkers and working with them, developing her, coffee shop recipes with the chef, and just settling down and having a little bit of a quieter life and having a slight sapphic romance. And there's something so calming and soothing about cozy fantasy, and this is one of my favorites of the cozy fantasy genre. This is kind of what kicked off the cozy fantasy craze almost, and I'm really happy to have this book. And it's so short and sweet and just like a big old hug. Big old hug in book form. Last but certainly not least, we have Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. And now I think this book is cozy, but it does have a serial killer plotline, so take that with a grain of salt. This is about Grace, who is a perfumer, and Stephen, who is a paladin, and his god has died, and so he's dealing with a lot of trauma because his god is dead. And the 2 of them end up having this like whirlwind plot and romance at the same time. There's a serial killer out there. Grace is implicated in a crime and needs protecting and help. And it's just a lovely fantasy plotline with a dash of romance, and I find myself wanting to be back in this world and revisiting Stephen and Grace because I just love their characters so much. Stephen is such a soft guy. He's a gentle giant who can also go berserk. And I just love that so much. I love their love. I love the plot. I love the cozy nature of Grace's like perfuming business and all that entails, and I just love this world. I love this world so much, and I love T. Kingfisher's writing and humor a lot. Those are some of my new comfort reads as of this year, 2024. What are books that bring you comfort and you find yourself turning to when you're sad? I would love to know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video of mine very soon. Bye.